Hey, this is Al from Transformational Gaming. Appreciate you coming by. Appreciate you coming to the channel. Before I get into all that, I just want to give you guys y'all flowers and show you guys my appreciation for you subscribing to this channel in numbers never seen before. I know that's some Trump talk, but we're doing numbers that no one ever seen before. It's just so overwhelming, the numbers for the subscriptions and the views that I got on my last video. I'm going to do another video on the Steam box machine, but I kind of wanted to get to this before anyone else did because there's rumors out there, and honestly this is like the second video, the third time I've heard in a video. It's been mentioned numerous times. First it was rumored on Moore's Law, and then I watched Digital Foundry say something about it, and then now it's Gamers Nexus saying something about it. But to me, as far as YouTube is concerned, these are the top videos that you want to go to for news on hardware and technology and stuff like that. Well, let's start from the beginning. The news that they're sharing right now is that NVIDIA is no longer going to ship the VRAM that comes with NVIDIA. They're no longer going to ship that to the AIBs, and so now the AIBs have to source their own RAM. And I just want to just speak on this. I don't care if I'm the first person or the last person to speak on it, but I just want to let you guys know that that rumor is not true. I don't work at NVIDIA. NVIDIA hasn't spoken to me about it. I'm just here to tell you right now, if you think that NVIDIA is going to use RAM, DDR5 RAM, which is fast, but you should know from the PCB, just by the PCB, that is ultimately impossible for NVIDIA to use DDR5, let alone trying to say that they're not going to ship it with their PCB no more. I mean, everybody knows, that's anybody that's in the tech world, that is virtually impossible for NVIDIA to ship AIBs a processor with no RAM attached to it and just the PCB. That is ultimately impossible. The specific RAM that NVIDIA used is much different than DDR5. But holistically, VRAM and system RAM is much different. It's controlled, it's segmented much differently than what's on a card slot for DDR5. The whole technology, the way it holds data is much different. So there would be no incentive for NVIDIA to risk AIBs having to basically solder on any other memory outside of the memory that they're using for NVIDIA in the first place. Because if that happens, then if they have to source their own RAM or whatever, the process would never work out. Like, especially if they're using DDR5. Like, I'm not sure exactly what the rumor is, but from what I understand, they're not going to allow AIBs to source their own memory, because the fact of the matter is that those processors and those cores, they are very much binded to the kind of memory, the specific memory that NVIDIA uses. These memory modules right here that I'm highlighting with my pointer, these are much differently implemented on a DDR5. And I'm not sure if that's what you guys are saying, but that has the memory shortage that's going on has nothing to do with the VRAM that's inside of NVIDIA. That NVIDIA would definitely increase the price if the RAM that they're using price increase. But folks, let me tell you something. When those processes go out, they have to be processed into this type of memory. So the memory that NVIDIA uses, they only really use two types of memory. And that memory is HBM and GDDR7 or, GDDRX memory. So they don't really use a lot of different memory that you can source on anyway. But NVIDIA is definitely not going to trust anybody to solder that stuff to the motherboard correctly. Because if anything goes wrong, then that means that the AIB holders are going to be responsible for fixing that stuff. And I'm just here to tell you, they're not really wanting to deal with that. Usually what happens is that if something's going wrong with the PCB or something like that, they can just ship that stuff back into NVIDIA. NVIDIA will reimburse them for that. They're not going to want to be responsible for that PCB. The only thing they want to be responsible for is like the cords and the heat sink and all of the manufacturing around that. But they're not going to want to be really responsible for the PCB. That's all I wanted to say. I don't want to make this video too long. But again, I just appreciate all of the people who are subscribed to the channel. Hopefully you can get something out of this. Again, appreciate you guys subscribing. This is Al from Transformational Gaming. I just had to get this out of my system because I just think that's preposterous. There's no way they're going to do that. I mean, look at this. Anyway, let me know what you think. For right now, it's just a rumor. All right, this is Al from Transformational Gaming. You have a nice day. May the truth set you free.